Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're diving into this really interesting source document from an organization called TATANKA. And what it does is lay out this incredibly creative and pragmatic response to what it calls the current crisis in transgender rights.
Right off the bat, the source material hits you with this powerful quote from the writer and activist 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡. And it's no accident, right? This choice really sets the stage for a much bigger conversation. One that's not just about one group's rights, but this idea that all of our freedoms are tangled up together.
So the document argues that to really get what's going on, you have to look past all the political noise in the headlines. It says there's this deeper, much more complex story of resistance playing out on the front lines. And it's the kind of story that usually gets lost in the day-to-day news cycle. All right, so let's get into the heart of it. The entire document, and really this whole explainer, is built around what they call 4 surprising truths. And these are designed to completely reframe how we think about this struggle. It's not what you might expect.
And truth number 1, it actually challenges us to look at the very language of the movement. Specifically the LGBTQ+ acronym, and why 2S is now being placed right at the very front. It's a deliberate choice, and there's a deep reason for it.
So what exactly is Two-Spirit? The source is super clear on this. It is not just another word for transgender. Not at all. It's a really distinct cultural and spiritual identity, and it's rooted in indigenous traditions that were here on this continent long, long before any colonizers arrived. And this slide really breaks down the why behind that decision. According to the document, putting 2S first, well, it isn't just about being a little more inclusive. It's a powerful political statement. It's about honoring indigenous history, it's about decolonizing the movement's own language, and it's about making sure a community that has been systematically erased is finally seen and respected. The source puts it this way, and it really drives the point home. This isn't just about adding more letters to an acronym for the sake of it. The argument is that true, real inclusion means reordering our priorities to center the continent's original wisdom. It's a fundamental shift. Okay, so that focus on decolonizing language and history, it leads us right into the second truth. And this is where we shift from the symbolic to the very, very concrete. This truth shows how the legal fight isn't some abstract debate happening in a courtroom. No, it's about the fundamental tools of identity and freedom that people need just to exist. And this timeline, wow, it really visualizes just how intense and fast-paced this legal battle is over the right to simply be recognized by your own government. I mean, look at this. You've got an executive order, then a policy change, then a court swoops in to block it, that block gets expanded, and then it's all appealed to the highest court. It's this rapid-fire conflict over something as basic as a passport. So when you're facing these kinds of relentless legal attacks, what do? Well, the source material explains that the whole idea of sanctuary is being completely transformed. It's no longer a defensive move, just finding a place to hide. It's becoming this proactive mission to build something entirely new. And this quote from the TATANKA document just captures that spirit perfectly. Relocation is not retreat, it is revolution. It completely reframes the act of moving, not as giving up, but as a revolutionary act of creation. It's about building a new world instead of just hiding from the old one. I love that. And look, this is not just about putting a roof over someone's head, not even close. The program is designed for shelter, yeah, but also for security and for purpose. It's providing this comprehensive support. We're talking legal help, creative outlets, psychological counseling, all designed to help people not just survive, but to actually thrive, to create, and to reclaim their own power. So you might be asking, how does a revolutionary idea like this actually get put into action? Well, that brings us to the fourth and final truth, what the document calls a pragmatic revolution of love. And you might think a revolution starts with millions of dollars, right? But this one begins with a surprisingly modest and accessible goal. The source explains this amount was chosen on purpose, for one reason, speed. Because, as they say, we do not have the luxury of time. It takes this huge idea and makes it feel immediate, tangible, and something anyone can get behind. And that initial money, it's crucial to understand it's not just a donation or charity. The document frames it as seed funding. It's the very first step in building a completely self-sustaining ecosystem, one that's designed to run on its own for generations to come, supported by its own planned revenue streams. It's an investment in a future.
This statement really just summarizes the entire philosophy we've been talking about. The idea that the most effective, the most lasting response to political hate isn't to fight fire with fire. It's to build something new, something resilient, something that's totally rooted in compassion and care. It's powerful. All right, so we've walked through these 4 surprising truths. What's the big takeaway here? What should we really hold on to from this look into TATANKA's source material?
I think the ultimate point is this. The fight for transgender rights, as framed here, is so much more complex and creative than what we see in the headlines. Real resistance isn't just about playing defense or surviving attacks. It's about innovating. It's about weaving together historical respect, sharp legal strategy, and this incredibly bold vision for building community. And so the source material leaves us with this final, really provocative question. And it's a call to action, right? It shifts the focus from some distant political battle right back to our own lives. And it asks us to think, what is our role in all of this? How can we help create a more compassionate world right where we are?